Hey guys, how are you? I'm here with my favorite co-host, Hurricane
Hurricane H.
H, and together we make up Double Impact.
Double impact. Yeah, well, we missed you, man. It's been a week.
Yeah, I
Well,
know,
two
I know.
weeks
Well,
since the
this
last
week was a little
show.
crazy, and I had a show this week. It was good to be over. That whole since it's January, we had like a Broadway play. It was an off Broadway, but it was a play, and it was a little about 2 hours every. It was Friday night, it was Saturday, and then we had a matinee on Sunday, and then every night we had a 2 hour cast party. So you're not getting home till like, by the time you finish the party, 2, 3 in the morning. And then last night, Sunday night, I wrote thank yous to every single cast member, but I actually typed everyone by hand because they want you to fill out a piece of paper. I took every cast member and I wrote them a personal message.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
And they
Now I know
charge
you
you
were
to
on
do that.
vacation.
They charge you to do
Oh,
that. They charge you. It's a charity. You have to pay to do that. You get 5
I guess
kisses in a
everything
bag.
now is a month.
Yeah. They call them cast kisses. I remember when it was a buck, $2. Now it's up to $5. They gave me a little break, but I'm like, I'm a cast member. Like, you're not supposed to be making money off of us. It's like for the other people. So it was a very good show. It was called Flow Around the World. We traveled all around the world. We got on planes and different things. And this one guy in the play, he thought he won the lottery for, I think it was $100,000, and he goes to get the ticket, and he finds out that he only won $100. He only matched 4 numbers and not 6 numbers. But
Oh
that's
man,
okay because he
that's
meets me. I'm
disappointing
his
though.
I'm his cousin, and he decides to drive around the country. He said, "Well, let's just drive rather than fly. It'd be a lot more fun." He didn't realize how much money, so he decided to drive. Meanwhile, he catches me in New Orleans. Because in New Orleans, I say to he's at the bar, and I say to him, he's there, and he's like, "Eddie, is that you?" And I'm like, "Clark, is that you? My favorite cousin? What are you doing out here in New Orleans?" Oh, and he tells the thing about the whole thing about the ticket thing. And I was like, Clark, I hate to see your family so disappointed. You've always been there for me and everyone. I tell you what, I'll give you the money. You're giving me the money, you don't have it. And I said, I sure do. He said, no, you don't. I said, remember when I was working, I don't know, a while back at that experimental nuclear laboratory? Well, when that chimpanzee outperformed me, he bit me. And we had a fight. He bit me, and I sued the pants off that company. Lot of moolah, $10 million. I give you that world-class trip, Clark. We can keep it our little secret. All I ask is that you let me tag along a little. So where do we want to take the bunch first?
John, you gotta go on vacation, dude. I'm having fun right now.
What's
you
that?
coming, you coming with a fresh, outlook about yourself. I love it, man. I dig the accent. That was good too. That was a good impression,
Well,
man.
I had to do
I
that,
like
and
it.
then I also had to do I did a fighting with the bulls. That was not easy. I had to do a fighting with the bulls, El Toro. The ladies dance, and I
Ooh.
had a dance fighting with the bulls, and then I did a German dance. Ah, yeah, the German, yeah, yeah, die Geschäfte German, yeah, 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 and we did a German dance.
Any pictures, any videos you want to share?
They're online. I
All
could
right.
say, yeah, when yeah, we have some pictures. You know what I did? I took the ringtone. I made a custom ringtone out of the applause and what they call the curtain call, and
Mm.
that's my ringtone. I literally took, I don't know if I have it here. One of the people from the cast, they literally wrote it. So every time my phone rings, I literally go right to this. Every time my phone rings, and that kind of brings back the moment where we're all going on stage and we're doing our bows. I always tell you
Nice,
that if you
nice.
find something you feel good in, anchor yourself to it. If you're carrying thousands of dollars off your parking lot, go carry an empty envelope and you'll feel that way. And when you feel that way, you'll have the money. See, the money's only a feeling.
Well, we can talk about that. That's actually a great topic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
before that, just a
Okay.
reminder: we are live on Twitch,
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram. By the way, folks, Instagram. Otherwise, you can chat with us directly. You can drop in your comments, and we can just respond to you. Same thing on any other platform that's live right now, Facebook, LinkedIn. Just chat with us. I would love to hear from you. And again, got John, the entrepreneur here, the serial entrepreneur. And you got me, just the one, the only hurricane. And we're gonna have some fun today. And I love, John, what you said there about the concept of the money will happen, right? It's but you gotta get to it. You gotta feel it. And yeah, it's this week has been a little week for me, at least personally. And I've had a couple of shows about motivation, inspiration, and stories of success,
Oh,
and where
wonderful.
people. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I had a couple of guests that I've enjoyed the discussions with them, and do check out the shows. But they really are stories that can change your life if you really think about it that way. And I mean literally, because when you see, like, with the first, Nick Lara, he's a podcaster, entrepreneur as well, and but what's unique about him, he was diagnosed by with autism, since he was a kid, but he's doing terrific, and I believe that he's really a role model to a lot of people, because sometimes we find reasons why things cannot happen for us, but no matter what your circumstances, your life can change, and you have to have the drive and don't believe the hype. And I think the title was, driven by his, literally comment that he said, as an advice. Don't listen to naysayers and follow your dreams. And that was kind of like, the inspiration behind the title.
Absolutely. No one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself. But the thing I'm writing, in fact, this article that I'm writing this week, it's about the merry-go-round, and it ties on to what you say. And that people say to me, John, well, what does the merry-go-round have to do with helping people's lives? So the title of the article, I'm still writing it. It's the
Mm.
evolution of the merry-go-round, okay, and how it works. But in the article, I actually talk about how the merry-go-round works, and the fact, I don't know if you know where the first merry-go-round started. It started in the Middle Ages, and it started because when one of the ladies actually lost her husband, that's when the concept of the merry-go-round started. And they would put planks hanging them from the center, and they would try to joust and things, and it was a lot safer. And then what they did is they painted the horses, and they had all fun and stuff like that. But what I also am getting into writing is the fact that we get on our own merry-go-rounds, whether we put ourselves on them or other people put us on them. We're on that merry-go-round. So how the heck do we get off? And where I go is the fact that, everything that you identify with comes closer to you. When you de-identify with something, it moves away from you. So if you don't like something, the fact that you identify yourself with it means it's coming towards you. And you don't have
That's
to.
right.
What a lot of people say to me, John, is, I don't like it. Okay, fine. You don't have to like it to accept it,
Yeah, that's true.
right? You might be a,
That is
a,
true.
a world-class football player. I'm not. And I accept the fact I'm good at a lot of other things, but I know I'm not going to throw a ball 500 yards, right? I accept that. Okay. You may not like it, right? Or you may not like where you are right now, but you accept it. And at least that's the first stage. And so people get stuck on their own merry-go-rounds, and they don't know how to get off them. And they just go around and around like, help, 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 help. And finally, they're either just, blown out, like they can't do anything, or, they just keep getting off one, or they like spin off one merry-go-round, and then they get on another one, and then that one's going even faster. Or worse, it's going slower and it's going in reverse.
Well, listen, the key here is, and the reason actually I wanted to talk about this today specifically is
Mhm.
that there's so much, unfortunately, so much negativity in this world, and that sucks, right? I'm just looking at different things on TikTok and so on and so forth, and
Yep,
all
yep.
the media, and you got people that literally, some just to have the opportunity to get additional followers. I don't even know what's the motivation behind, but they take a pic, and it's just like the news, and it becomes news, and then everybody is like, they're cars, the ones for and the ones against. It demotivates people. If you're trying to achieve something, if you're trying to do something, first, you cannot really just listen to people that will put you down, or down you, or even like just cramp your style. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you don't owe them anything, and that's the part that we drive home. That you're here for the mission is to do you, to take care of number one. So and again, you can contribute to the trying to do something good for the world, and share, some wisdom with people based on our experiences, where we may be nobodies to some, and we may be great buddies to others, we may be leaders for others. It doesn't matter. The idea is trying to do something, that they are doing something. You could be anything. When you just, like, you could take this right now and take any topic in the world and start bashing on people, and really hitting on things and giving our own opinion about, not regular stuff, and I don't personally see it as a value, and I don't think John, does that either. We bring in stuff that is relevant, that might change your life. Well, at least, sometimes we just talk nonsense, but it's nonsense that has some sort of into it, that can actually become something that one can apply in their life. And that's the thing. Again, I love the first time I met John, by the way, we had a show and it was about belief. And those two concepts did come up. By the way, your name did come up on one of the shows this last week, and your hat came up as a star of the discussion, John,
Oh,
because
really?
it wasn't like, if you believe you can achieve that kind of, and we always go, yeah, it was. And so it came to you, dude. And the fun part is that these are concepts that everybody watching and listening right now, live or not live, later on when this replays, you will have the same message. You have to believe in whatever it is, yourself first, and everybody else,
Yep.
or everybody around
That's
you,
why it's my
whatever it is
slogan,
that you
believe
need
me,
to believe in, you
achieve.com.
believe in.
You can't achieve if you don't believe. And I
Well,
think
I mean,
people get
it starts with
stuck
belief. I
on
mean,
that.
and
They get stuck on that premise.
they do. Well, the hardest part is that believing in yourself. Now, it gets harder when, if you don't believe in yourself, who the hell is going to believe in you? And maybe your parents,
Exactly.
and that, we've heard stories, maybe your spouse, maybe your kids, and that we've had stories about those too. But your first person that owes it to yourself, to you, is you. And that's the thing. If you don't
Yep.
believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what other people believe in. You can't do much, right? And that's the other thing. You don't believe what other people say, good, but otherwise it should not affect you. And yes, it gets to you. We all have sensitivity to things. If someone starts bashing right now, it's a comment, and I see those things. I get a video, I get a comment, I get stuff. That completely irrelevant. You're doing something here. They see one little clip and they give you a negative comment, but they just like to give an opinion. I always say this: if you have nothing good to say, just stay quiet. Or if you don't like what you see, you don't have to watch, right? I mean, right now, I mean, seriously, we're talking. You don't like what you hear right now, you can certainly just switch. There's plenty of lives going on right now. I mean, you go anywhere in the social media, there's going to be a live at any given moment, or multiple lives at the same time, and you're free to choose. When you choose a TV station, you don't like it, you switch to the next one, right? A TV, a radio, same thing. You don't like this show, to the next one. Same thing. You change the frequency, and the same thing for us. As individuals, we have to have the ability to switch off. Anybody that's going to send us negativity, keep positive, and that's the power. And don't let people get under your skin. I mean, that's the other part. And people will try it in, for no reason. Sometimes just because you rub them wrong. Like, I think Denzel Washington is like, your demons, or they don't like you. A demon doesn't like them. Something like that he referred to in one of his interviews. What makes sense, right? I mean, think about it, John. People sometimes they just don't like you for whatever reason, and then they articulate that publicly. And then when you think about it, like, I don't know you, I don't owe you money, you don't owe me. And technically, if this a personal discussion, and you're entitled to your opinion, I'm not going to tell you whatever. You don't like me, I'm ugly, it doesn't matter. I'm bullshit, I'm a BS artist. It's all good. That's what you're thinking. I'm okay, but I'm uncomfortable. John, you're comfortable with yourself, right? And that's it. And that's the thing. Get comfy with you. Get comfy with who you are. Get comfy with your surroundings. Establish your own person and your rules. And you know what? Don't allow anyone to get in. I mean, those are your defenses. And as long as you have that, you'll be fine. And again,
it's good.
Today's
it goes
topic
back to
is
the
really
premise
just
of,
about positivity, motivation, dream. Yeah.
Absolutely. But like I said, it goes back to what I said many times before: is that no one has the right to make you feel inferior about yourself. So that's really the cornerstone, is that no one has that right. So if you're feeling bad, I don't want to blame you or blame me, but I want to blame me in one sense, because see, I accepted that. I identified with that. If I say, hey, I appreciate your 2 cents, and I've been doing this a long time, I got a lot of supporters. That's fine. You can think what you want. Just don't accept it. See, many people stay quiet and then that secretly accepts it to them. You know what I'm saying? And we might have lost you there. I don't know where you went.
Well, there's two schools
Okay.
of thoughts there. I mean, you can. I'm here.
Okay, you went
there's
off
two
the screen
schools
for a
of thoughts
second.
there. There's one where you could respond to them. Oh, okay. I'm. Hey.
You're there. You're there. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like I said, there's two ways to do this. I mean, you're right. You can ignore one way, and a lot of people do that, and so you allow more room for more retaliation and more nonsense. Spin in the butt, just boom, and face it up front, and that's it. And either way, you're gonna have the people. Again, there are people that just have else, and they may not do something, they criticize everybody else. Don't criticize people. Look in the mirror, right? See yourself first, and by default, criticizing others typically tend to be, psychologically speaking, it's something that's wrong with you, because when you, and I'm talking about positive criticism is one thing. I know John, something I think maybe he can do an improvement, vice versa. He doesn't like something I do on my podcast or whatever. He can be positive, we'll take it. But criticism for the sense of just criticizing people for no reason, it's just doing it because I feel like I can do it, or because I'm like brave enough to type 2 words, or give you the finger on or one of those, in there, and sometimes even send a clip. Point about that. I mean, really, you're not going to affect me, and that's the other thing. And so, some people want to have an input on the program, for example, and that's okay. If you have something good you want us to discuss, we always say you can come up right now. You're live, guys. Someone like us who has an issue with us, come on, let's have a discussion with this, and we'll have fun. By the way, with everybody. Just this is not about us, really. This is about just the idea that there's so much going on in real life, and I see it. And it's upsetting sometimes when you see that, because you know what these people are going through, no matter what, and then they're trying to do something, and if you don't like I said, you don't have to follow them. 1, 2, if you think they're not doing, well, give us an input, give them an input, share with them what you can do better. What could I do better to do this, right? If you don't like, let's say you don't like this format, you don't like what we're saying, well, send us right now, well, maybe you guys do something better than this. And don't just say it out, but give us what is wrong, why is it wrong, and then tell us some of the key components that we can change. See, that's constructive criticism, where you give us something. And by the way, you have also an expert that's making criticism. If you have no clue and you just want an opinion, those are damaging, right? I'm gonna say it, but that's plenty of those opinions. I love there's a TikTok, that my wife had posted, and it was just one of those viral ones. And what it says, I think the coffee, the difference between coffee and you, I ordered coffee, not in your opinion, I ordered coffee, something to that nature. So the concept is that nobody's ordering an opinion, and everybody's entitled to one. That's great, but I don't come to your home and on your door and tell you, like, what the hell is this paint color, or why you dress this way, or why you work here, or why you do that. I mean, nobody's doing it to you, right? So and you wouldn't like that, right? If someone comes into anybody's business, we all get upset, right? Everybody wants to, well, why do you have a hat on? Why do you have, this shirt? Why you're not dressed in a suit in the show? Well, there's a lot of whys. We can ask all the whys. There's always a reason behind the why. And but you can't figure out the reason unless you ask the question. And then why there's always some story behind, what you see. What you see is not necessarily what it is. There's more to it. You don't know what my version of what I do. You don't know what this. I judge based on, again, we always say, all saying, never judge a book by its cover. The cover, receive it. Or sometimes the cover can be attractive. You read the book, it sucks. But and so that's the thing, right? You don't know, good or bad, you don't know. But you can judge all you want, but don't judge if you don't even know what's the point. And even if you did judge, what's the point? Unless it's gonna benefit you or I or the people, the audiences, there may not be a reason for it. Now, again, by the way, this is not against people's opinion. Have all the opinion you want, but respect others, because I can guarantee you can't come up to somebody in the street and tell them, hey, I like the way you dressed up. Yeah, that would be a very very not cool thing to do, and the wrong, and you don't know what's going to happen. It could be a punch, it could be a kick, it could be a lot of bad things can happen, right? You don't know. And we always respect people. So again, I think we have to be all sensitive to others. We have to give the positivity, and also I think on the flip side, the people, when you start going into like a public opportunity, or you push yourself up, find the right things, do something with the right purpose, and the right mission. I think fill it. But again, never let people tell you that you're not worthy, that you're never gonna amount to anything. Those are dreams. Dream big, dude. I mean, who cares, right? Dreaming. Well, people are jealous of your dreams. What the hell? It's just dreaming, right? Imagination. You can imagine what you want, right? Imagine whatever you want right now. You're watching right now. John, you're watching with me. Big imagination, creative imagination, figments of imagination, whatever you want to do. Think about, that you can fly to the moon right now in an instant. Doesn't matter what it is. Your own, doesn't matter. Whatever you can imagine, that's up to you. And nobody can stop you for it. And that's the good news. So why some people are literally involved into your dream or your just imagination. They want to limit your imagination. Don't. And some people, just because they haven't thought about the idea, or they haven't been able to do it, or they think that, they couldn't do it, now you can do it. Well, you are you, John is John, Hurricane is Hurricane, Smith is Smith, I don't know, Jennifer is Jennifer. It's different. And we all have different ways of dealing with life and how we do things. We should just take advantage of that and respect each other, and be positive. And that's the part of it. If you're, again, you believe, you're positive, you don't take negativity whatsoever, you can do a lot of things, and don't let people get into it. That's all. Now, again, John wants me feedback, wants to give me something that is going to help me grow. That's great. And we all have mentors. We all should seek mentorship. We all seek help sometimes. No one is beyond help. No one is all knowledgeable. That's the other part. So, and we all, like, sometimes somebody says, well, I don't like the video quality you have. Well, I don't like it either. Trust me. And why? Because when I have maybe a humongous studio with your, not with your help, of course, but if, I'll probably have some more professional cameras and bigger, stuff, a full team on this, now, unless you're going to give me that stuff, then you have no right to say that the quality is good or bad. Now, that's just an example, by the way. But the idea is, you don't like my sound system. Okay. That's okay too. I have what I have with the means I have today. 10 years and 5 years and 1 year and 6 months, things can change. That's the whole thing. You know that, and you're not contribute, so all you're contributing is lip. That's cool, but it's not going to make a difference. Someone says, well, your editing is not really great. Would you like to volunteer and edit my stuff? I'd love to take it. By the way, I'm just using the example of the stuff I do, and this can apply to anything. If you're in sports, I don't your get up, your dress code. Well, are you gonna buy me some nice, expensive stuff for my suit? No. And that's the thing. If you're gonna make that comment, are you gonna contribute to anything other than the words? If then, right? Someone says, oh, well, why are you doing the way you're doing it? Why it's, you have this particular frame, you're using this StreamYard versus this or the other platform. That's what I can use today. As if you have a couple $1 million to throw my way, I'll be more than happy right now, and we can invite you to a bigger studio. And again, that's just an example, guys. The idea is that this is how it is in life. People will come to your own world, and they criticize and pick things apart, but then they're not gonna help any way, shape, or form. And that's the problem. And sometimes what it does to people is that it stops them, because they feel inhibited, they feel disappointed, they feel that they're not doing a good job. Instead of getting encouragement, they just get discouraged, and then they stop. And so this message for people, both sides. If you are doing something, don't let people get into you and discourage you and disappoint you. Keep the faith, keep the belief, and you will achieve. And that's the difference, as opposed to, and the folks, if you're just, again, if you're not going to contribute in anything positive, just to give an opinion, listen, your opinion is your own. You have the right to have opinion. And that's the thing. The wisdom says, just, you got some positive, say it. If you got nothing that you're going to contribute positively, just being quiet. And by the way, being quiet could be a good message or a bad message too. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is, Everybody, sometimes people don't think that you thought about something, and they just like, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Well, what? You don't think that I actually put that in play, or I have the mind to it? I just couldn't get to it, or I don't have the means to get to it, or it is to-do list phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. You have no clue, and maybe it's not. Maybe you give me a good idea. Now I'm going to apply it phase 6. The bottom line is, folks, believe in yourselves, believe in your dream, believe in your whatever it is that you are doing, and you will get there. Doesn't matter. You're gonna get a lot of people. They're gonna try to put you down, and we look at them. What are they doing? Are they doing something similar? Are they doing anything, or they're just sitting there trying to find a content or discussion topic or something, or somebody that just is under the spotlight to talk about, and that's it. And that's what people do. Somebody is in trouble. Everybody's talking about. Somebody's doing something. Everybody's talking. That's the news world, and that's okay. News is news. But in the regular life, people are doing. They're trying to survive. Happen to survive to make ends meet. You don't know. They're trying to build the next big thing. A lot of people look for where they were until they became, who they are today, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, look at him, look at her." Well, you know how many people had literally just what the abilities were, and we could pick historically all the biggest successes of the world. We're going to find that there were people around that actually didn't believe in them, so that they were just losers, that didn't again was it she was kicked out, I think, from panel or radio, TV or something, a show. Am I getting that right, John?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, or folks, if you're listening, I think there's something about Oprah where somebody, let her go, whatever the case may be, or didn't think that she was qualified. That girl was, and one of the huge, she's terrific. I love her, and she's a success story. And Michael Jordan, Walt Disney. Since you and I shared the story about working at Disney World, his imagination. Imagine him being actually fired for an imagination, and he created the next imaginary world, that we think of Disney World today, and everything. That there's many examples out there, folks. The key here is, we all have the opportunity to do things, and we all can contribute positive. That's a control, and let's not just react because we're feeling bad about ourselves and be envious to the other people's work and success, and therefore just want to criticize, because that's like almost like putting the buck on the other side and not looking here. It doesn't matter if you keep doing that. There's a point, and by the way, what you dish out is going to come back to you. As a bitch, it's going to come around, right, John? What do you think about that karma business? Right, it's real, isn't it?
No, karma is definitely it's important. It doesn't always
John?
happen immediately. It does pay back, but it does sometimes take some time. Our whole world is energy.
There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
As long as you
No,
live.
I said our whole world is energy.
That's
So
right. I mean, as long as you live.
Like you're mentioned about the frequency, just like you turn to the frequency of us or to a radio station, when you turn to the frequency, when you put your intention to that frequency, you're at that frequency, because everything you want already exists. It's just a matter of you tuning into it and making it something that's part of your life. There was a very wise thing said. I don't know if any of you guys know Neville Goddard. Followed him for a very long time. And he had this thing a while back, and he said, these people in the back of the church, listen, I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to write everywhere around, I'm not going to climb a ladder. Everywhere around, I'm not going to climb a ladder. And then I want you to go to sleep every night. And I want you to picture yourself, before you go to sleep, just climbing that ladder. And within a few days, once you've climbed the ladder, I want you to come back to the meeting. Now, don't make yourself climb the ladder. It'll just happen. And once people climb the ladder, they come back like, oh, I climbed the ladder. People that hadn't climbed the ladder, they couldn't come back. So what does that mean? That means that when we put a don't on something, like I don't have this, I don't have that, it's actually a good thing, because the mind doesn't really process the don't. I don't have $50 million, just say hypothetically. So when you say these words, you're saying, okay, I don't have it. Okay, I don't have it. Don't have it. And then your brain's not trying to fight it. And your mind is like, oh, okay, I don't have $50 million. And so now, yeah, I'm not fighting it. You're going to keep doing that. Your brain is going to find a way to show you the 50. It's like going to show you a way. And so that's the whole thing with Neville Goddard's teachings is that the ladder, people said, I don't climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. I'm not going to climb a ladder. I won't climb a ladder. I won't climb a ladder. And you picture yourself climbing a ladder. And so your brain doesn't see the don't. But then to emphasize it and to envision yourself feeling what it feels like to climb a ladder the last time you did it, or, the temperature, the texture, the feeling, how is it like when you climb that ladder? And just see yourself just going up that ladder. And so your mind is basically designed to show you not what you want, but what you are. So when you become something, okay, you bring that into your life. You want to be a great speaker. You want to be a good dancer. When you become that for which in your mind, you then become that in the body. We learned that from the basketball players many years ago, the three that practiced. One practiced every day after school. One practiced in the silent study with their mind. And the third did nothing. The third obviously was terrible. The first and the second were very close to each other. The mind doesn't know whether it's reality or whether it's, let's say, just something that, make believe. Mind doesn't know the difference. It does not know the difference. And so what Neville Goddard teaches us is that if we put the emphasis on I don't have, and then we have whatever it is at the end, that actually will get us to keep that intention in our mind, as opposed to if you say, gee, I am a great dancer, and that's great, but somebody like, oh, I don't believe I'm a great dancer. So if you have that problem, like, oh, I have $50 million, well, who am I kidding? I don't have it, right? So if that's happening to you, you put the don't in there, and suddenly it's like, okay, I don't have, and then you're like, have is the last part. And that's what your brain focuses on. It focuses on not what you don't have, but what you have. And so when you say to yourself, I have this, like, yeah, right, I have that new car. You don't have that new car. You're not getting it. And so your brain's going to try to disorient that or dismantle it. But when you say, I don't have, okay, I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Yet.
No, you don't say the word yet. You just say, I don't have. Don't say yet. You say, I don't have. And I also tell people to do something, the Tesla writing, which is very, very powerful, 369. So if you want to do something really powerful, you do the 369 with the Neville Goddard technique, with one of his techniques. So you get up in the morning, and let's say let's just say it's something. Let's say it's $1,000. Maybe people are having trouble with the million. So let's just say it's 1,000. So you say, I don't have $5,000. So you're right. I don't have $5,000. I don't have $5,000. I don't have $5,000 3 times. Middle of the day, you write it out 6 times, and you write it out 9 times. You go to bed, and you just picture that money just falling into your bank account. And somehow it happens.
So now people would probably watching right now, like, well, how is that going to happen? So, just being mindful of folks watching, because I think they, there's a concept of that we're building here on the belief part. There's also some people will be like so critical about it, like, well, if I don't take action, where's the 5,000 going to be?
Well, okay, so the thing about this is that everything requires action. Okay, that would be a lie if we said it didn't require action, but to get you into the right place, into the right alignment, to be able to see that opportunity. Okay. That's what this does. So I'll give you a perfect example. Many of you guys know that I have a brand new radio show in New York and New Jersey on WTVQ. I have been wanting a radio show on AM FM radio for a very long time, but there was just nothing available. So I'm like, okay, I don't have a show on the radio in New York, New Jersey. I don't have a show on there. I just don't have a show. I don't have a show. I don't have a show. I don't have one. And a while back, I was calling the station for something else to advertise, and he's like, you have your own show?" I said, "Yes." I was just like, "So you guys probably don't need anybody on your show." "Well, actually, we have a guy retiring. What's your topic about?"
Mm.
Didn't plan that it was even going to go, and we just said, "Hey, I'll send you my information," and because we have to verify. I'm like, if okay, yes, no, whatever, whatever happens. And before I know it, I'm the host of a new morning show. And my next manifestation is I don't have a national show. I don't have a national radio show. I don't have a national radio show. We're going to do that for a while too. And so the fact of not having it is already creating things of like, so for example, I discovered that one of my podcast communities wasn't doing things the right way. So I fired them, and we're doing it ourselves now, and started realizing that I'm becoming closer to the things that were away from me. And so as you get these insights, as you get these thoughts of things, of actions you can take, you need to take that inspired action. So,
Well,
yes. So, but
you
you're
are
saying I don't
aware.
have. What's that?
I said you are aware by repeating the fact that you don't have it, you don't have it, you have it. You're aware that you don't have it. Now you got to make whatever it takes necessary to get done. Because now it's in your mind. It's alive. It's not
But the
just
thing
something
about it
that's.
is, if I said I have it, I have it, I have it, my mind would be like, yeah, right, you don't have it, you're not getting it. So you would try to fight it. So now it's like, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have the national radio show, I don't have the national radio show. I don't have $10 million in sponsors right now. I don't have to. So whatever you want to, and then you just kind of keep thinking about that. I did another one we were working on. I don't have an event where lots of people are attending. I don't have an event where lots of people are attending. And we're suddenly working on a battle of bands in a few months. Now we don't have the event yet that a lot of people are attending. Don't have the event that people are attending. Don't have the money for that event that people are attending, but I don't have it. But we're getting somewhere with something. So that's kind of how it works. Does that make sense? You're focusing on, if you said I have it, and it's one thing to have an affirmation so that you're positive, like I am healthy on this, that's great. But when you're trying to do something that's material-like, and your body's like, yeah, right, you're not going to do that. Like, for example, when I did the losing of the weight, for a while, I always said I'm my perfect healthy weight. Now, my body first for a while was like, yeah, right, that's not happening, right? So I'm just saying to myself, well, I'm not at my perfect weight. I'm not at my perfect weight. I'm not at my perfect weight. And suddenly I got at my perfect weight. So that's kind of what happens. And then when you put the imagination on it before you go to sleep, you fall asleep with the wish fulfilled. And here's the other little trick. So I'll do this technique for 7 days. Then I'll stop. Okay. And I'll do something for another 7 days with another manifestation. The important thing to do after those 7 days is just let it go. Let it go. And then move on to something else that you don't have. And you'll keep thinking about it. You'll keep thinking about it. And something will give you like a laser sharp focus to what it is. And I think the reason people get stuck is they look at what's on their plate right now, right? I'm not a big buffet person, but let's say you're at a buffet or a restaurant. This is not what's on my plate now. Now, I can have more than what's on my plate. I could order more if I want. I could go back to the buffet if I want, right? I don't have any more food on my plate, but I can easily go fix that, right? When you say something like, I have more food, even though it's easy to get, your mind's going to try to block it out and say like, yeah, you're not getting more food. And it's like your mind plays this tug of war with you. Like, no, you're not. You're not getting that. You're not getting that. And so I just decided to do the Neville technique, which is just, I don't have it. And I accept that I don't have it. And then the other big thing is gratitude. Gratitude is so very, very key. And energy connects. The other day, I'll give you a perfect example. I was coming out of my play, and you know, I'll say to you that it's interesting because people believe that everything is going to be like immediate. Okay, when you're in the frame, or I want to call it the zone, like a lot of times sports people, or how we always say, we're in the zone, right? We're in the zone. What that basically means is that you trust in a universe that it will happen. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're trying to pay your rent, or maybe you're trying to pay some bills and you didn't have the money for it. You just say to yourself, you know what? I don't have it right now. I trust in the universe that everything will be delivered for the good of all concerned. Now, that doesn't say you have it. That just say, I trust in the universe and I have faith that the universe is going to connect me. So the other day, I was actually coming out of my play a little late, Sunday afternoon. And with all the running around, I was getting out late at night, and then going for partying, going home. And, the gas tank was okay. But then suddenly it was like down to 27 miles. So I figured, okay, I got time. I'll get it after practice or something, right? And so I figured I got 27 miles. I go to start my car at about, 5:30 or something, and the car doesn't start, right? But I have 27 miles left on my tank. Can't trust those tanks. And so, what's that?
No, so you can't.
What? No, you really can't. So
just a gauge.
Yeah, it's just a gauge. That's the only time I want to hear the word can't. No other place. And so I called roadside. And I think, they're going to take a long time. I want to get home. You know what I said to myself? Okay. They're not going to be here on time. I'm going to accept it. They're not going to be here quickly. They're not going to come for over an hour. And it is what it is. They're just not going to be here. I'm on the phone calling my mom. I was just talking to her about the play. And all of a sudden, somebody knocks on my window. Look at my watch. I said, it's only been 7 minutes. He's like, did you open your tank? So I really do believe that has something to do. But here's more about this. So as he's putting the gas in the tank, I gave him a tip. But as he put the gas in the tank, I said, gee, and I was going into the thing. Yeah, I said, unfortunately, I said, yeah, I guess the car said I gas it. I said, but yes, it's no big deal. It's just a small stuff. I said, I'm here at a safe location. It's no big deal. I said, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a podcast host. I'm also a national talk show host, and I have my own radio show. I don't suppose you'd want to watch, or you'd like to listen sometime. And I gave him one of my cards. He's like, you know what? I'll save your card. So you never really know how something is going to transpire. And I think when you put a lot of emphasis, like it's got to be this way, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. If it's not that way, all right, so what? It's not that way. It'll be another way. And I said the same thing with this Battle of Bands. If we don't have the Battle of Bands, we'll have something else. We don't have it now. We can only get better. And so I think what happens, this happened with another guest I was pulling on one of my shows. And he was a pretty top guest. And I said to myself, I don't have this guest. I don't have the guest. I don't have this guy. I don't have him. I don't have him. I don't have him. And the guy emails me back. He says, I would love to be a guest on your show. Something like national author. I said, oh, okay. I'll send you a media release. So putting that energy out there, like I don't have it, a couple things still might fall through and it still might not be the way you want. But when you put no attachment to something, I find that you're able to open up your eyes clearer. And you can be able to be creative, get those ideas, get those insights. But make no mistake, HH and our listeners here tonight, you have to take the inspired action. Well, John, I stayed home all day. I closed my eyes. I meditated, like you said. Yeah. And nothing happened. Like the $1 million. I said, okay. You meditated, you got the idea, you connect with the energy, but you still got to do something. Oh, you said I only had to meditate. Well, the meditating is going to get you in alignment. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's get you thinking of the actions and steps you need to take to make that happen.
Mhm.
So it doesn't just work by closing my eyes for 30 minutes a day. No. You close your eyes, you think about it, and it's yours, but then you're going to start seeing it. You're going to start getting ideas of a step you got to take, a nudge.
That's right.
So the reason you don't get it now is because you're so focused on not having, okay, that you don't have. So what's the difference then, John, between I don't have and I have? So when you say to the universe, I have something, and your mind right away can't say, oh, you don't have that. You're so full of it. But when you say I don't have it, you're not focusing on the don't have. You're like, I don't have it. I just don't have it. And you're actually putting more emphasis on the have, but you don't know it. And that creates it to come towards you.
Well,
But
John,
yeah.
you go ahead. No, I was going to
No,
say,
no,
I
okay.
mean, thank you for that's very powerful stuff. And you know, that takes us to where this whole topic of the day is that this is all, and you said it best, the fact that you just want to do stuff, you want to get into the mix, and don't expect that it's going to be a certain way, because you might think about one way and then you're going to find that the best way is going to be completely different. But the idea is,
Yep.
don't lock yourself into one idea or limit yourself to the only way it's going to be is this and not anything else. You don't
Absolutely.
know that yet. And that's I mean, you've been in business long enough to know that you start one thing, something else pops up, you tweak, you do this, you do that. Never know. It's always moving left, right, upside, but it's never back, but it's always forward different ways. And don't limit yourselves. That's the thing. Like if someone says, well, the only way it can be done is this way, well, that's wrong. There's infinite ways, and we all know the expression says there are thousands of ways of skin a cat, to skin a cat, whatever the expression goes. Well, nobody's skinning cats. We love cats. But the idea is that, there's so many ways you can do a lot of things. And there is no Hurricane Asia's way or John's way. It could be any other way. That, as long as it works for you and it gets you to where you need to be, that is fine. Now, maybe there's not an infinite options, but you have a lot of options, and know that you're not locked. If something doesn't work out, doesn't mean that's the only way and that's the end. Find some other way. If you're stuck in, let's say you go on a trek, in the forest, and you lose your trail, right? Does that mean
Yes.
you're done?
No.
Yes. Okay. You scare me. You're not done. I mean, you can't give up, right? And that's the whole thing. You gotta find a way to figure out the sun, to figure out this, look at the trees.
What
look at
about the
plants,
people? I've done this many years ago, where you go around the tree.
Mm.
You've never done this, probably. You're in the forest. You mentioned the forest, and
Yep.
we're back here again. Everybody's like, "Wait a minute, isn't that same tree back?" No, it's a different tree. Walk around. It's like, I think that's the same tree. Why don't we mark the tree now with an arrow? Shows like, oh, that's the tree. We probably should go this way next time.
Mm. That's right. That's right. And that's the thing, right? So again, the analogy of a forest here is just one, but doesn't matter, business, personal, life. If you have in mind, we talked about thinking, right? We talked about the idea of you have a dream, imagine stuff, no one's going to limit. The limits that we have are made by us. We're the ones who create the limits. Yeah, there is timing too, right? You might not have the right time, the right equipment today. As you said, I don't have, a radio show. I don't have a radio show. That was then. Now you do. I don't have, a great event.
A national radio show.
A national radio show. Well, you are worldwide right now. We're live.
Yes,
but
yes.
I get you meaning. But the point is,
I never had AM FM right in my own state, which is something I like, because now I go around like, oh, John, you're on the radio. I'm like, yeah, I am. By the way, did you want to give me a gift? Yeah, and that's a different thing, because it's a conversation over, did you want to give me a free gift certificate? I'll mention you on the air this week one time. Really? Yeah, just give me a certificate from a restaurant, and I'll give it away on the show if people answer the question right. So,
well,
yeah.
No, but you're right. I mean, AM, FM. I mean, the iHealth Radio, which is our radio. We try to go on the AM, FM when we launch, but there was no licensing available, so it's very limited. And to get on, it is.
I know
you got to find some spot to get in. It's not just now. Maybe if you're in a different country, maybe there's an opportunity there. But in the New York metropolitan area in Jersey, it's almost impossible to find a spot because all
And
the
also
frequencies are pretty
trying
much
to get on like what's the other one trying to get on?
XM?
Sirius and XM radio,
Yeah,
right?
Sirius XM. Yeah,
Sirius XM.
that's
So I
difficult.
think
but
it's
not.
very
It's
difficult,
difficult,
but
not impossible.
no, right, exactly. But when I first started doing this, before I was even doing video podcasts, I was on Blog Talk for many years, and I knew I wanted to do more than be on that platform. And I said I'd like to get to video, and so that kind of changed. And it's just I think what I like about the radio is that it's an experience. So I actually drive to the radio station every Tuesday, even though I could just pick up the phone and call them. I like to be in the station. The other reason for doing that is sometimes if I come early, they're like, hey, John, do you want to join us on the morning show? And I just kind of, become the peanut gallery for the morning show and talk about all the things that happened and how people should do this or that. And I'm like, well, you should hang around for my show later on. Like, I'll say tomorrow, if you guys want to manifest, I'm going to teach you how to manifest with water, but you got to stay tuned for my show in another hour. So that's my thing for tomorrow. We're going to show people how to manifest and get their goals with water.
There you go. Well, again, it's aligned with our discussion today. And by the way, how is it? How is the show?
Great.
Any callers like that exciting that we're doing today?
Say that again, Hurricane? What's that?
Any callers that you had a specific experience with? That was
we had a couple. We've had more
show?
texters basically. I had one lady that texted me in, and she said, and I always appreciate consistent constructive feedback. She said, you went over that point already 3 times. So I waited to the end of the show, and I said, we always appreciate feedback from our listeners. And before the last break, we actually got a text in from a lady in New Jersey, and she actually was mentioning that I had repeated myself. And to be honest with you, I did that on purpose. Now, here's why I did it. We have a human bell curve, and chances are 80% of you have probably forgot what I already said. So you'll notice that I say things 3 or 4 times so they sink in. But I do appreciate you noticing that I repeat, because that was a great observation there. And
well, listen, I mean, well, but that's a great point, because sometimes we do kind of, we can't oversell, but the idea is that people only retain a certain amount of information. And that's the other thing. Let's say I'm right now, it's towards the end of the show right now, right? Someone joins now, they will not catch what we did. Now, luckily, these are all recorded and going to be
they can replay this
all over the world. Exactly. But for the live AM, you don't have that ability. So someone that may just join mid-show may not have heard that comment, and by repeating it, it gives another group of audiences, a little bit of that same mojo, the same feedback, the same
We are working on, this is another project, it's not being done yet. We're working on taking the show into another context so that we'll take out the contest, because I can't put the contest obviously on the replay show, but it takes a little bit of work because the shows would have to get edited down, and we'd have to take up things like that. So, but right now what we do is we take the IFYL show, which is on every single night, which goes on between 9 and 11, and it goes out live to quite a few people. And then what happens is within 24 hours, I take the cast and it gets sent out audio to like 15 or 20 platforms. And my whole goal is just to give someone a nugget, something they didn't know, some tool that they could put on their belt or in their box that they could choose to use, maybe something that could help them get through their day tomorrow. And that's why I call it Inspirations for Your Life, because I think everyone in this life needs inspiration. And if they don't, they're lying to us. Inspiration is what is the food for the mind. It's the food for the mind. And if you take bad food, right, it's not going to keep you healthy. If you have good food coming in, like good inspirational words, it's going to lift you up. Like you mentioned before, if you have negative thoughts or bad things coming in, you're going to feel bad. But like I want to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, you're feeling good or bad because of you, not because of the podcast host or because of the speaker. You're making that choice. If we say something and you don't agree with it, or let's say you feel that or someone says something to you and that puts you down, what I always say is you can either walk away from that person and just say in your head, cancel, cancel. Or you could say to the person, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to give me feedback. I have quite a few people that support me, and I've been doing this a long time, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And they're going to be like,
And that's right.
And so when you do that, you de-identify with what they were trying to identify with. See, when you stop or you shut up and you just like, I'll just be quiet. The reason people say to be quiet, it's not because they want you to be quiet. They want you to be quiet because when you're quiet, everyone knows you actually accept what they're saying.
Well, I love what you said there, John. And you know what? That's right. You know, the idea is that we can agree to disagree, and that's
Absolutely.
okay too. You know, you that's the thing. Don't let influences, influence you or influencers. And I'm not talking about influencers as in the social media context. I'm talking about people that have to have an impact on your decision making or impact on
It
how.
could be at your
by the way,
office. It could be in a relationship.
Exactly.
It even could be a boyfriend or girlfriend. Now, some people say, well, gee, she's my girlfriend. He's my boyfriend. Just because you've given them that title, okay, does not give them liberty. Or even if you marry them or they're a partner or it's your boss, it does not give them liberty to disrespect you or to have you feeling bad. See, people guilt you into something. I can write them saying, well, gee, that was a great statement you made. I was just curious. What was your reason for sharing that? Well, you said a lot of great things and then you changed at the end about tell me how I should change. I was just curious. What were you really trying to say to me? Just come direct and tell me. Are you trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm doing? Are you trying to tell me to slow down? Are you trying to tell me to threaten me? Like, what are you really trying to tell me?
That's
I
right.
had enough of this discussion for they would say I had enough of this discussion for today, and they walk away. And what happens is when you call somebody on their crap, they basically like, what do I do now? Like, you pull the rug up just a little bit. I didn't pull the whole rug out. I just pulled up a corner, and they're already running for the truck. So I think when somebody is genuine and you ask them a question, somebody say, hey, John, that was a brilliant statement or that was an interesting statement. Why'd you make it? I'm so happy you asked me that, HH. I made that statement because I felt that it could actually inspire you to maybe change the way you might do something so you could be more profitable. Oh. And so whenever you do something for the greater good of all concerned, no one could be mad at you. When your agenda is to do something, to cause something to happen, okay, I don't care if it's in sales, relationships, you're not doing it for the better good of all concerned. You're doing it for you. So I always tell people, I don't matter, okay? You matter. And so I want to make sure that you get the best benefit. And then I'd like to win too. But the most important thing is letting people know they're important. But a lot of people just feel like, well, of course I'm important and you're going to do what I want because that's what I say. And so when that happens, it causes people to curl up in a ball. And when they do this, like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know. And so very few people will either challenge or, let's say, pull the carpet up on somebody because they're afraid of confrontation. I'm not afraid of confrontation. I'm happy to have a dialogue. I'm happy to say, let's agree to disagree. Like, well, John, I don't want to get involved in that for why not? Well, Brian, that's a great conversation. And, even if we have this whole conversation, at the end, we agree to disagree, I think we accomplished something. What do you think? And they look at me like, they look at me like, are you nuts?
but John, again, you're making a terrific point here because at the end of the day, someone will come to you and they want to give their opinion, and you're right. There's two ways to look at it. You can tell when someone is really concerned and is trying to make a change, a positive one, versus someone that just wants to make you feel bad or just kind of like literally step on your crap, right? it's not like it's not even a secret. You can tell it's very obvious the way they
You
come
can
about
tell,
it.
and you get these people. They're like control freaks. We had some people in this charity I was with, and there was something very simple the other day where we had to put a table out for this raffle at the big raffle. I didn't win, by the way, but this table had to go out. So I had told the people that we need to put a table out there, and so I asked this lady, "Well, when are they doing the raffle? Is the big raffle going to be the end show?" She's like, "Well, why are you asking me?" I said, "Well," she said, "you should ask X." I said, "Well, I did." And she's supposed to know where. So she makes this whole big thing about, okay, John, are you telling us? No, I'm just asking where. Well, don't worry about it. I will handle it from here. Okay, have fun. And people feel like they got to be in control to feel important. You don't need to feel in control to be important. You could be out of control and be very important. Right?
That's
When
right.
you fly a plane, are you in control of that plane? No. You might be the CEO of a company.
That's right. And you have no control over it.
Having no control actually gives you more control.
It's a good way to look at it. What do you think, folks? So we have an audience on Instagram right now. So shout out to everybody that's watching right now on the Instagram feed. So and I shout out to my good old friend who actually was a guest in a previous show, Safid Reese. And everybody else that's on today, so there's a whole bunch of folks that are there. I did put in a question for them if they have any questions for us, since we're coming to the end of the show. So maybe we'll give a couple minutes if anybody wants to come in, add, share, interject,
2
whatever
cents,
the
5
case may
cents,
be.
a nickel, a dime.
Yeah, same thing. Whatever you can, we'll take it. And then same thing.
But
Actually,
I think this happens a lot with people is that they ride this. So now when you get somebody like that, I don't judge them, but what I typically will do is if I know they're that kind of a person, I will pretty much steer clear of them in the future. If they need something, I'll keep it very straightforward to yes, no, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. And I don't get into a whole dissertation. If they ask me why, I'm like, I'm busy. And my favorite one is, well, it's a charity. I'm giving my time. So why are you chastising me for what I can and can't do? There's some people here that don't even help at all. And they kind of like, So I think there's always going to be those control freaks out. There's nothing we can do about them. But you get them everywhere. And they feel that they can change the world, which not in a good way, though. They want to change the world because it's going to be the best for them. But they don't care about you or IHH. They care about rewriting the world so it's the best for them.
Well, there's that, or they're just simply bullying. And
that's a lot
the
of the older people don't want to bully. They're more trying to change it in a way that's going to conform to their little, I don't know, mold or whatever. And if you don't fit into that mold, well, we're just going to chop until we can get you to fit into that mold. So my response is this. Sounds like you got it all figured out. Maybe you should take over from here. Yeah, you take over. I'm done.
That's it. Good luck.
Goodbye. I say my word. Goodbye.
That's right. Yeah, listen. And that's funny when you do that. They'll be like, "Oh, that's not what I expected." Hello.
Well,
please take over. It's funny because you see that all the time. Like when you have a situation and and you try to make a decision, someone's like, "Well, what are you doing this way?" It's like, "Okay, I have to do it this way. Let me back up. Let me see what you got." When you throw that at them back, I'm like, "Oh shit, now what?" Well, now you spoke. Let's see what you're good about, and let's make it happen. Show us your what you got.
Well, that's what happened. The person was challenging me with this stupid little table of when it was going to get rolled out, and I said, "Fine, you take care of it." And she very abruptly pushed past me, but she wasn't happy.
Hey, you didn't start, she did. So you know what? But that's the thing. Like again, I mean, folks, we started this discussion about positivity, about believing. Don't let anybody naysayers or haters, as we call them, or like the success inhibitors. And we can just create a whole dictionary for those words and for those folks here that actually have this
alternative personalities. Alternative agendas.
What I would call them is just that unfortunately these are they exist, and they have their own problems, and I wish them well. I want everybody to actually maybe get out of that status, whatever it is, and just see the world as a better place. But unfortunately, these are people that exist, and we just have to know how to operate with them. And listen, I had some guests before, and they were actually pretty influential guests, and they've been in, for example, the Hollywood world. It is brutal, and it's hard to deal with some of the stuff. But there are people that are literally just they're waiting for the damage, for the carnage, for the bad, for the blood, to actually make a noise so they can become in the light, right? So they want to show up, and basically use you as the scapegoat, or they use you as the step, actually, to get to their ends. And you know what, just don't allow that. Make sure your barriers are high. Make sure that you have electric fence around you. They come in, there's a whole shield, like space stuff, like Star Trek shield. Right? The bottom line is you have to have your defenses. You have to be full of power and believe in yourself. And no one will actually penetrate those defenses of yours. They can do it. You gotta have to have thick skin, and people will come in corporate world. We see that all the time. People try to throw in shit at you, right? And they try to poke in you. If you got this, and that's the other thing. As long as you know what you're doing, and you have the knowledge, and you have the capabilities, and you know that you have those, people can come in. Listen, again, if they're gonna come with constructive stuff, and they're gonna give you an input, and they're gonna help you be better, you welcome that. We should all have that. We shouldn't have ego beyond the right proportions, because at the end, the ego is not going to help you. But certainly, if someone is just coming to parade in your shit and show, and dude, this is my turf, baby. You don't come to my turf and try to change things without my permission. Come in with my authorization, my permission, and we'll do just fine. If not, I can turn this on you, and then it's going to get ugly. That's the other thing. It's not the point. The point is that, again, everyone deserves a better life. We all strive for a better life. There's no one watching right now listening that's like, oh, I think I want a bad life. Everybody wants the greatest life. They want to dream big. They want everything that they see out there. They have the dreams. They want the yacht, the car, the house, this, that, the other, the millions. Doesn't matter what you want. Or sometimes you might just want to be quiet, just have a nice little camper, live in the woods. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is, whatever it is that you want, no one should have permission to actually damage that feeling, that belief, and that dream of yours. You have the ability to do it. You will do it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That's it. It's as simple as that. Anyways, John, so we've exceeded the hour, and we were trying to.
We did. I think we're going to get some comments from them.
And I was waiting for some. I guess we haven't got any. But folks, again, this is your show. We're just chatting here, and it's really, today we're talking about just dreams and and positivity, and not allowing someone to break your dreams. If anything, they should reinforce your dream. And anybody that's not supporting dreams, you should just eliminate them from your circles and your entourage. You do not have to surround yourself with people that are not, sharing the same values or can help you there. That's the other part. So
the most important thing is don't get emotionally invested in these people that are going to be what I call that are going to drain your energy. So you want to divest yourself from these people and invest yourself to people that are going to work with your energy. If somebody doesn't work out and they were a friend for a while, okay, fine. It's perfectly cool to move on. I've had friends before where they were great, and all of a sudden they're ditching me, doing different things. They're like, man, what are you doing? Well, I'm kind of busy there. Well, it looks like you're busy. All right, let's just reschedule the time. Now that happens again. I'm like, well, it looks like you're busy. Your girlfriend, I understand. No big deal. Listen, when you're free, but do me a favor. Just plan some time for me when you really have time, but don't reach out until you have some time. Cool. Third time comes around, they do it again. Oh, man, I hate to tell you what happened. We got a big football game this weekend. You know what? This isn't working out. So I don't really want to hang with you anymore. We're really close, but I don't feel the vibe anymore. So I'm thinking we probably should go our separate ways, because you can't even commit to 20 minutes or 30 minutes for lunch. I don't think I want to invest any more time in you. Oh, yeah. So if you ever change and you might become a little more dependent, great, reach out to me again. But until you get your life back on track, why don't we just go our separate ways? And I
You
look
know,
at
John,
my
I want to thank you for that. I want to just add one more thing is that,
Oh,
folks,
sure.
listen, this is very simple. You know, time is very limited. We all have a very limited amount of time in this world. And, you know, we need to maximize every opportunity for our betterment to do better things for ourselves and our families and whatever it is that we are, you know, here to do in this. We all have some sort of a legacy. We all have some sort of drive. We all have some sort of a calling in this world. And so that's the bottom line. As long as we are aware of this and as long as we actually make sure that no one has the right to interfere with that plan that we have and or you know to mess up with our own timelines, that's it. You're in control. You are at the helm of your own life. This is your ink. This is you. This is your corporation. This is your world. Make it, you know, lead it the way you want it, and don't let anyone else lead it for you. And that's a simple thing. That's it.
You are
Enjoy
the
your life.
captain of your ship,
That's right.
and you either sink with it or you sail with it.
By the way, you sing, you're gonna learn how to swim, and you're gonna do this. So that means keep
And
positive.
and get yourself another ship.
Yeah, just make sure you have some lifeboats, right?
Everyone wants to get on, remember this, everyone wants to get on a plane that's left the runway or a train that's left the station or a boat that's left the harbor. Nobody wants to join that boat that's still waiting for the crew, that's still waiting for the cabin door to be closed, or still waiting for the rails to be clear to proceed with the train. Nobody wants to get in on the beginning. They all want to come on when it's a sure thing. And I told my friends this today. Support me today. I'll remember you later. Come back to me later. I may not quite remember you as well.
Where were you when I needed you, right? That's a very powerful question. And you know what? That is a strong, you know, I think we could leave today with that message that, you know what? When you're needing help, the true friends and the true people that will be there for you are the ones you want to carry with you in the long haul. If they're not there when you need them and they just come in when you made it and things are easy, when it's easy, you know, it's too late. You know, those that were during the hardest times of yours, those are the ones that are keepers. And there's nothing,
Yep.
you know, better than those people. And you got to love those and cherish them because they're true and they really care. And those are not hard. And there's not too many of those. So if you have them, enjoy them and cherish them and work with them.
The only thing I want to tell you is that when you test your people, which you're going to do a lot of times, and they fail that test, be brave enough to let them go. It's okay to test them, but when they fail, don't make excuses for why they didn't pass. Just say goodbye.
That's it. Well, with those words of wisdom, we will definitely, you know, close today. But again, folks, this is your regular double impact. You know, we chat, we BS a little bit, but we give a lot of good nuggets, things that are applicable to life that we've used in our personal lives that keep us motivated and, you know, forward in our paths. And these are things that we share with you. I mean, we're not charging for this; it's free information. You don't have to accept it, but we do enjoy if someone actually takes value of it and applies some of these little advices. And you know what, by the way, I watch a lot of motivation. John does the same, and you know what, it's aligned with most of the best, you know, motivators in the world. This is consistent, so just take it for what it's worth. And you know, again, don't take it from us. You can look, do your own search and research, whatever the case, but do it for you. Do it for your own good. That's the bottom line. And join us, guys. Join us for the next show next week, and chat with us. Send us some emails. Do check out John's radio show. What's
Just
the,
go to
the radio in the morning?
BelieveCheap.com and you'll see the link for WTBQ. We're live every Tuesday morning, which is tomorrow at 10:05 a.m. We're till basically 10:58. We do have the number we give with the show, and you even have a chance if you're in the New York, New Jersey area to win a gift certificate to some great restaurants. And we don't even just do restaurants. We have some massage places. We have some spas.
I'm in.
Lots of great things that you can potentially win. We even have dance lessons now that we're giving away. So not just restaurants. Nice. And just for listening to the show, I'll even give you a special word so you could get a free dessert or possibly a free drink on us.
All right. Well, listen, call tomorrow and check out the show. Interact with John live, you know, and that's not just on the EMBC or iHealth Radio. That will be actually AM/FM. So that's a pretty good hour for people to actually chat in and just join. And it's his new show out there.
And tomorrow we're going to teach you guys how to manifest something I'm not doing anywhere else. I'm going to teach you how to manifest with water. This is something I'm not sharing on any other program. This is just on the radio. It's very exclusive. So you have to tune in.
Guess what? That's right. Tune in. All right, and that's it. It's a wrap. Let's close this.
All right, everyone. Have yourself a great night. Remember to believe in yourself, and you will achieve.
That's right. Thank you, folks, for being with us. I'm Hurricane H.
And I'm John C. Morley. And we make up Double Impact, everyone. Impact.
Oh, that was good. That was good. That was perfect.
Yeah, we were great. Right on the time there.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.